Good morning, Rachel. Comprehension activities and instruction are very different for kindergarten and second grade. Would you describe the approaches you would take for instruction for those two grades and let us know why those approaches are developmentally appropriate?
Certainly. Between the ages of 5 and 7, there is a very definitive cognitive shift. What students are capable of doing at the age of 7 is very different than what they can do at age 5. However, in both kindergarten and second grade, explicit and direct instruction for comprehension strategies must take place through teacher explanation, modeling, and student practice. In kindergarten, the focus is on comprehension acquisition, whereas in second grade, the focus is on comprehension instruction. In kindergarten, most students are not reading independently. Students at this stage must focus on decoding as they read and will have a hard time comprehending texts they read alone. It is very difficult for the brain to decode and comprehend at the same time. Therefore, the best comprehension activities will take place during read-alouds as a whole group. I will facilitate discussion before, during, and after reading a book. I will stop and focus on words and concepts along the way. At this age, students are still building their knowledge of the real world and increasing their vocabulary. They also are building their skills in understanding text structure and foundations of print. To assess comprehension, I will ask questions and have students retell the story. Also, students will be asked to sequence events, act out the story, use new vocabulary, link ideas to their own life, and make causal connections. In second grade, students not only have a lot more background knowledge at their disposal when they are trying to understand text, but they also have more metacognitive skills available to them. They can activate their prior knowledge, generate questions, draw inferences, summarize, and use their knowledge of text structure. Also, second graders are reading more types of text and are able to read much more independently. Instead of learning to read, they are reading to learn. While students at this age will still benefit greatly from my teacher-led discussions before, during, and after reading, they will also be able to use comprehension skills independently when reading. It is critical that students at this age focus on increasing fluency so that their comprehension skills can be built upon. Once again, comprehension declines markedly when decoding steals the majority of the brain's attention. I will ask students to appropriately fill out graphic organizers that identify settings, characters, and main ideas. They will make comparisons between literature that they have read and Venn diagrams. I will introduce multiple strategies for comprehension. Reciprocal teaching is a commonly used combination of comprehension strategies. It focuses on alternating dialogue between student and teacher and promotes predicting, questioning, summarizing, and clarifying skills.
Very good. Good job, Rachel. Another question I have for you is this. We have an increasing number of English language learners in our school. How would you modify your instruction to promote their oral language development?
English language learners need specifically scaffolded oral language instruction. While they may pick up on basic interpersonal communication skills and seem fluent in conversational language, they may need explicit development of cognitive academic language skills. Each ELL must be assessed individually. It is not fair to assume that all ELLs will be at the same literacy stage. Also, many times the language level and reading level of an ELL will differ. Therefore, it is extremely important to assess an ELL status and literacy development at the beginning of the year and to make continued assessments to monitor their progress. First and foremost, ELLs need to be exposed to a rich environment of language. They will be encouraged and expected to participate in daily classroom conversations in my classroom. One activity that I will use to promote the inclusion of ELLs is having a daily news segment where students share what is going on in their lives. ELL's approximations will be accepted and valued, and they will receive constant feedback on their efforts in speaking. Listening centers will also be a helpful way to expose ELLs to oral language. Not only can they listen to tapes in English, they can listen to tapes in their primary language if available. This will provide a brief respite from being inundated and overwhelmed with the English language. It is beneficial to pair ELLs with good language models in the class. However, it is extremely important to differentiate between an ELL's oral language proficiency and their content knowledge. Shared reading activities that take place in small groups can be a great avenue for showcasing to native speakers that although ELLs have a lower level of English proficiency, it does not mean that their content knowledge is low too. They may have very valuable insight to content material, but need encouragement to express it. Also, teacher-led shared readings are a great way of introducing new genres or English idioms that ELLs would find confusing. Along the same line, I will avoid using idioms during classroom discussions if I am not planning on explicitly addressing what they mean. A few strategies that I will use to address the needs of my ELLs include using visual tools as language support, repeating key concepts, and establishing predictable routines. I will give directions in a clear and explicit way, and students will be given multiple opportunities to engage with each other in conversation, both socially and academically. All of these techniques allow ELLs to follow along inside the classroom without feeling perpetually lost. I will also be aware that I honor their native languages. I do not want them to feel ashamed for speaking another language. Rather, they should feel proud of having such a desired skill.
Good job! Last question I have for you is this. We've been talking about revisions to our primary grade writing instruction program. Could you describe a progression of instruction from preschool through second grade?
Yes. All students at every grade level must spend time daily writing and receiving meaningful feedback on their writing. Students can engage in writing workshops that focus on pre-writing, drafting, revising, and publishing. Teachers should engage students in conversations about their writing at each stage. At each grade level, the writing workshop will look a little bit different due to the progressing writing developmental stages that the students are in. Writing instruction in pre-K and kindergarten focuses on students making the connection between spoken language and written text. Shared writing is a great way to incorporate writing into the preschool classroom. In shared writing, the teacher is in charge of the pen. The focus is on the composition process, and the teacher acts as a scribe and helps refine ideas that the students present. The students are able to incorporate learned techniques in their own writing at a later time during independent practice. Shared writing topics can be based around any of the 4 types of writing: functional, narrative, informational, and poetic. While shared writing is a great way to focus solely on composition, interactive writing allows students to share the pen and take part in the construction process. In pre-K and kindergarten, students can provide their knowledge of letters and text formation to contribute to the writing process. It is incredibly important that young writers are allowed time for independent writing and practice. Preschool writing may take the form of drawings, scribbles, letter-like symbols, copied environmental spelling, invented spelling, and conventional spelling. By kindergarten, students should be able to write multiple sentences to narrate a picture and should be able to correctly represent beginning and ending sounds. First graders should also participate in shared interactive writing. However, first graders are able to plan and carry out their plan over multiple days. First graders are unique from younger students in that they can help each other out throughout the writing process and can offer comments about each other's work. First graders will begin to engage in the habits of writers. They will choose topics that they care about, they will read and reread their writing, and can revise their work with adequate teacher support. They can spell word-wall words correctly in their work and represent almost all consonant sounds correctly. In second grade, there is almost an entire shift away from interactive writing. The teacher can have a shared writing activity when introducing new genres or writing techniques, but students should also experience many more opportunities for guided and independent writing. Second graders are aware of others' likes and dislikes. When they are writing, they focus on their audience and purpose for writing, as well as finding their voice as a writer. Second graders should be given opportunities to write in multiple formats, including letters, narratives, and book reports. Students will be expected to plan and organize their writing to include a beginning, middle, and end. They are much more able to engage in sustained work periods than younger students. In the end, second grade students are able to edit and reflect on their work. They also can comment and reflect on other people's work. Not only is their writing composition more sophisticated, their construction is as well. Second graders begin to write in cursive and can focus on using the correct mechanics in their final drafts. Second graders are also able to use appropriate technology like word processing to aid in their writing process.
Great job, Rachel!